This is a fantastic film, great storytelling. That's what this film's all about, the storytelling. I always say we need a great story. You got that church clip ready? All right, let's do it. Thanks, Marvin. Good afternoon. I'm Steve S.H. Walters reporting for Breaking News 500 here in beautiful Vero Beach, Florida. Today's topic is the classic Western film, High Noon. Now, before we get on to High Noon, if you haven't subscribed, folks, take a second and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you, and we appreciate our loyal subscribers. Now, without further ado, let's get to this classic Western film, High Noon. High Noon was released in 1952, directed by Fred Zinnerman. Stars Gary Cooper, Grace Kelly, Thomas Mitchell, and Lloyd Bridges. And they've got a cast of great character actors in this film. A lot of them became future stars. Lee Van Cleef, Harry Morgan, Lon Chaney Jr., Katie Jurado, Jack Elam are all in this film, and they all did a great job. It's really great storytelling at its best. Now, the basic story is this. Marshall Will Kane, played by Gary Cooper, well, he just got married, folks. He got married today. Let's give the Marshal a hand. And just after they finished a small ceremony, he turns in his badge. Him and his wife are going to leave town and go off to a nice future somewhere else and live a married life. Well, things change awful quick because they just get a notice that killer Frank Miller is coming to town. He's on the noon train. He's going to arrive at high noon in town to come and probably kill the marshal because he had sworn to kill the marshal because the marshal sent him to prison. And he's got his band of cutthroat killers, 3 of them already waiting for him at the train depot, and they're going to come into town. But the townspeople don't seem to be too worried. They say, well, Marshal, go ahead and go. You just got married. You turned in your badge. You're retired. Go live your life, and we'll deal with Frank. He's kind of feeling a little responsibility, a little guilty, but he gets in the buggy with his wife, and they start to drive out of town, and he's talking to his wife about it, and she doesn't want him to return. They're supposed to go on about their life now. They just got married. And he's like, I got a responsibility. I can't leave that town unprotected. That killer, Frank Miller, is coming to get me, and I got to go back and deal with him. I can't leave like this. Turns the buggy around and goes back into town. His own wife's not supporting him. He just got married. She's not supporting him. And he's trying to get his deputy on board, and there's some issues there. His deputy, Lloyd Bridges, he's not supporting him. And most of the townspeople aren't supporting him. And he's only got about 85 minutes till noon to get some deputies together and get some help to deal with Frank Miller and his killers. And they're coming for him. They're coming for him. He's a little worried. He's a little scared. Well, wouldn't you be? Well, we've got a clip of Marshal Will Kane, Gary Cooper, in the church trying to gather some local citizens and, some men to be deputies for a while to help them out with this situation. Let's go to the clip. Are you ready? You ready? Are you ready, Marvin? Let's do it. Roll the clip.
But we put him away once, and who saved him from hanging? The politicians up north. I say this is their mess. Let them take care of it.
Well, I say this. We've been paying good money right along for a marshal and deputies. Now, the first time there's any trouble, we're supposed to take care of it ourselves. Well, what have we been paying for all this time? I say we're not peace officers. This ain't our job. I've been saying right along we ought to have more deputies. If we did, we wouldn't be facing this thing now.
Just a minute. Everybody quiet. Keep it orderly.
You had your hand up, Ezra?
Can't believe I've heard some of the things that have been said here. You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Sure, we paid this man, and he was the best marshal this town ever had. It ain't his trouble, it's ours. I tell you, if we don't do what's right, we're going to have plenty more trouble. So there ain't but one thing to do now, and you all know what that is. Go ahead, Kimmy.
This whole thing's been handled wrong. Here's those 3 killers walking the streets bold as brass. Why didn't you arrest them, Marshal? Why didn't you put them in jail where they ought to be? Then we'd only have Miller to worry about instead of the 4 of them.
I haven't anything to arrest them for, Mr. Trumbull. They haven't done anything. There's no law against them sitting on a bench at the depot.
Oh, you're back. What do you think about that scene? Everybody's got an opinion. All these people are angry. Everybody's upset. But did anybody step up and say, make me a deputy? I'll help you, Marshal. I didn't see nobody do that. I had to help that Marshal out. Me and him would have fought that gang. But I didn't see nobody in that church come up and say, deputize me. Well, he's got a tough job ahead of him that day, and that's for sure. Now, this film was a great success. They had a budget of $750,000, which is a lot of money in 1952. They did $9 million at the U.S. box office, $217 million worldwide. They got 4 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for Gary Cooper. And at that time, Gary Cooper was considered on the decline. He was 51 years of age, he's older, he's not making the movies like he used to, he's not as young as he used to be. He's no longer a top 10 box office star, but he came back strong with this film. Now, this film was also shot in real time, meaning that the movie is 85 minutes in length. They have 85 minutes before the killer gets to town. So you're going through 85 minutes of what the marshal's going through and the townspeople are going through, leading up to that big event with a big fight scene with the killer and his gang, Frank Miller. The film was based on a magazine story called The Tin Star, written by John W. Cunningham. They started to shoot the film in color, but then they decided, let's go back to black and white. Well, number one, it's cheaper, and number two, it gives more of a gritty feel, more of a Western gritty feel to this film, and I'm glad they did that because it really plays a lot better, I believe, for the film. Now, Lee Van Cleef's in this film, and he plays one of the men, with Frank Miller. He's one of the killers. But he was supposed to play the deputy, which is a starring role. But producer Stanley Kramer said to him, Lee, you got kind of a hook nose, Get that nose fixed. We'll put you in as the deputy. You star in the film and you make a lot more money. He said, I'm not going to fix my nose. I refuse to fix my nose. Well, good for Lee Van Cleef. He stuck his ground. Well, they took him off the deputy part, put him in as one of the killers for Frank Miller's group, and he's got no lines, and of course a lot less money. But he stuck his ground, did a great job as one of the killers, and he became a star eventually in his own right. Now, during the course of shooting this film, Gary Cooper was in a lot of pain. He had, stomach ulcers, he had back problems, he had a lot of stress in his personal life, was going through some things in his personal life, and it all showed on his face. Well, it was good for the film because it showed what he was going through with the stress of the killer Frank Miller and the stress he was going on and the pain that he was going through in real life. It all showed on his face. Helped him to win an Academy Award. The film can be seen on Internet Archives, Microsoft Bing, Amazon, Apple TV, a few other places. Now I want to hear the comments. I want to hear what you think about this film. This film has really got strong storytelling, and that's what it's really known for, and has a great climax at the end of the film. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, you're probably wondering, did anybody volunteer to help him as a deputy? Well, yes, there was, folks. There was 2 people. There was Jimmy the drunk with an eye patch, one-eyed Jimmy. He was offering to help. And there was a 14-year-old boy. Well, Marshal Will Kane told them both, don't worry, I got this. You don't have to help. But thank you, I got this. Talk about character. Did he do it alone? Well, you have to watch the film to find out. I hope you've enjoyed this look back on High Noon, released in 1952, starring Gary Cooper. I'm Steve S.H. Walters reporting for Breaking News 500. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.